Mass at the Holy Sepulcher brought an end to 3 days of reflections and gatherings on the topic of the year, the consecrated life. In the midst of so much suffering, we bring you a witness of the resurrection in the mission of Father Ibrahim, the pastor of Aleppo. Haifa closed down in order to allow one of the most important processions in the Holy Land to take place, from city centre to Mount Carmel. The first chapel dedicated to St. Mary of Jesus Crucified was consecrated. The saint will be canonized in May. Near Hebron in the West Bank, a baptismal font from the Byzantine era is part of a little-known archaeological site. An invitation that brings together the different cultures that are facing each other in order to reflect on the foundations of the identity of the consecrated life in the Church and in the world, and on the formation needs in contemporary contexts. The consecrated life is at the very heart of the Church as a decisive element for her mission, since it expresses the intimate nature of the Christian vocation and the tension of the entire Church as bride toward a union with her one spouse. This mosaic does a good job of explaining the mission of consecrated life in the Church. This year is dedicated to the consecrated life, and this means that the dioceses from around the world are promoting gatherings and reflection. For this reason, from April the 21st to the 23rd, institutions for the consecrated life and societies for the apostolic life from Galilee and Jerusalem came together in the Holy Land. The beauty of the consecrated life lies in holiness and in the fruit of holiness. In the logo of the year for the consecrated life, we wanted to represent the spirit that floats on the water. But the waters in this place have the form of a mosaic. In this mosaic, we wish to represent the beauty of the consecrated life in the diversity of the charisms.
Vogliamo presentare in quel mosaico la bellezza della vita consacrata nella diversità di carismi.
During the meeting held in Jerusalem in the auditorium of the Notre Dame Pontifical Center, about 500 consecrated people from different religious communities gathered together. The majority were foreigners who have been living in the Holy Land for many years and serve the local church with all of its challenges.
Quello che ci chiede la Chiesa oggi è una fedeltà creativa. Fedeltà non vuol dire essere sempre nello stesso posto, ma vuol dire essere...
What the Church is asking for is a creative fidelity. Loyalty does not mean staying in the same place, but where we need to be, and if we have to go, we go always following the breath of the Spirit. Consecrated people are a sign of God in different aspects of life. They are yeast for the growth of a more just and fraternal society. They are prophecy of sharing with the poor and little ones. When understood and lived out in this way, consecrated life can be seen like it really is, as a gift from God. A gift from God to the Church, a gift from God to His people. Every consecrated person is a gift to the people of God on their journey.
I always consider it a gift of the Lord to be called to follow Him more closely. Sisters of the Sacred Heart of the Word Incarnate, the world needs witnesses who believe in the resurrection, and we with our lives are announcing the resurrection of Christ. A different life in which peace and joy will reign in everyone's heart, is possible.
Consecrated people are a sign of God in different aspects of life. They are yeast for the growth of a more just and fraternal society. They are prophecy of sharing with the poor and little ones. When understood and lived out in this way, consecrated life can be seen like it really is, as a gift from God. A gift from God to the Church, a gift from God to His people. Every consecrated person is a gift to the people of God on their journey.
Sono siriano damasceno, nato a Damasco. Sto partendo per Aleppo come missione.
I am a Syrian from Damascus. I was born in Damascus. I'm leaving on a mission to Aleppo, where I'll be the pastor of the Latin parish in the heart of Aleppo. I'm not afraid. I do not feel afraid, not even of death or bombs. I feel this is not my doing, but the fruit of my prayer, of my relationship with God, with the Lord.
Capisco che questo è il frutto della mia preghiera, il frutto del mio rapporto con il Signore.
With this strong conviction, Father Ibrahim left for Aleppo. Among the many sufferings, more news arrived in the weeks following Easter. It was a massacre, a catastrophe, a murderous act, using such powerful missiles to bomb buildings where there are children, families and people sleeping. These are the words of Father Ibrahim. In the midst of the destruction, he is a witness of the resurrection.
Io ho speranza nella sua presenza.
I have hope in his presence with the people. There are many difficulties, so many challenges are bigger than we are. A friar can only do so much, but he can be a sign. It is enough for people to see the habit, the Franciscan habit in the street, and they can already perceive that there is a kind of peace.
Già intuisce che c'è la pace.
But to those who asked him if the monastery was hit or damaged, he replied that this is the last thing on his mind. We are much more concerned with people's lives. The important thing, said Father Ibrahim, are the lives of our families. The custody of the Holy Land is present in Aleppo with 4 friars, who run a parish in the district of Azizia. Given the current situation in this tragic and continuous sequence of events, the friars have decided to transform Terra Santa College into a permanent welcoming place for refugee families and religious. The Custos of the Holy Land, Father Pierbattista Pizzaballa, visited the Franciscan community of Aleppo, and for him, it is hard to find a solution. The UN and major international organizations are absent and unable to manage this complex situation. I hope that many small actions together can develop more hopeful prospects for the future. Father Ibrahim is also convinced that at certain times in history the church can live without stone buildings, because the most important thing is that there is a church made up of men who are made alive by the resurrection of Jesus. This is enough to start living again, added the friar.
Sento in me questo.
I feel this strength inside me, this madness of the cross, to give one's life for one's brothers. The Holy Scriptures exalt Mount Carmel's beauty, where the prophet Elijah defended the purity of Israel's faith in the living God. In those places, at the beginning of the 13th century, the Carmelite order was officially founded under the name of Saint Mary of Carmel. Every year, at Easter time, a solemn procession in honor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel takes place. It's an ancient tradition. During the First World War, when Turkish soldiers ordered the Carmelite friars to vacate the monastery quickly and take everything they wanted with them, the statue of Our Lady of Mount Carmel was brought safely to the parish church in the city, where it remained until the end of the war. When it was returned to the Stella Maris monastery in 1919, the people who lived in the city made a solemn procession to thank the Queen of Carmel for her protection of Haifa and its inhabitants.
The years in which I took part in this procession are the most beautiful years of my life, especially since it is in honor of the Virgin Mother who saved us from many misfortunes, and who is a merciful mother who has always had compassion on us and who embraces us with tenderness and love. I have well wishes for everyone, and I ask you not to forget the Virgin's protection. She represents everything in our lives.
The city was closed down in order to allow the long procession of Christians to pass. It made its way to Mount Carmel when the sun had already set. The Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Monsignor Toile, imparted the final blessing on this Sunday of great feasting. The procession was 3 kilometers long from the Latin parish right up to the Stella Maris monastery. This is a popular Christian religious and social procession in the Middle East, and particularly in Haifa. I wish that all of the Christians of the Middle East, Lebanon, Syria, and all Palestinians of the diaspora could be present and participate with us on this joyous occasion. The feast, to which we give great value, also serves to prove our existence and to strengthen our roots in the Middle East that we so love. I came with my parish, St. Philip's of Turan, with the scouts and with the large number of faithful who gathered to honor the Virgin Mary on this day and to attend this wonderful and blessed popular procession. Mary's entire family in all of Galilee takes part in this blessed event because we are all children of the Virgin Mary. As our proverb goes, the mother gathers people together, and this is why the Virgin Mary gathers us all together on this day and on every day.
شعارنا بقول الام بتلم والعذراء بتلمنا جميعا بهذا اليوم وبكل يوم.
On April the 18th at Ibrahim in Galilee, the first chapel in the world dedicated to St. Mary of Jesus Crucified was consecrated. It was commissioned by the Greek Melkite Catholic Church. Mariam Bawardi, the daughter of the Holy Land, as St. John Paul II called her during her beatification, will in fact be canonized this coming May in Rome. We all give thanks, first of all, for this divine gift, the sainthood of Mariam Bawardi, a daughter of this parish. It is a grace that we do not deserve, but it is a free gift from the Lord. Let us give thanks to God, who has given us this chapel dedicated to the saint. A procession through the streets of the small town, the birthplace of the Blessed, preceded the Mass, which was presided by His Excellency Monsignor George Bakuni, the Melkite Catholic Archbishop, along with the Patriarchal Vicar for Israel, Monsignor Giacinto Marcuzzo, in the presence of a large number of priests and a large crowd of faithful. Congratulations on the canonization and congratulations on the consecration of the new chapel. You must be very proud. You have begun a series of celebrations for the canonization, something that did not begin in Nazareth or Rome, nor did it begin in any other place, but was started here. Congratulations. Christ is risen. Saint Mary of Jesus Crucified lived out the virtues of Christian love, faith and hope. We have such need of these virtues during this difficult period. The saint offered herself to God in spite of difficulties, hardships and different experiences, and thanks to her determination, faith and strength, inspired by the Holy Spirit and the Virgin Mary, she was able to remain faithful to her vows and constantly live a Christian life. Mariam Bawardi was born in 1846 and died in 1878. Also known as the Little Arab or the Flower of Galilee, she was granted a series of gifts such as ecstasy, levitation, the stigmata, transfiguration of the heart, and the gift of poetry. Despite the fact that she was given virtue and that she lived with graces given to her by God, she always felt imperfect. We are all so happy in Ibrahim. Centuries after the coming of Jesus Christ, Mariam Bawardi will be proclaimed a saint. How happy we are to be natives of this city, the city of the Saint of Ibrahim, her hometown, where she received the sacrament of baptism and confirmation. The chapel will remain open 24 hours a day, so it may become a shrine visited by all who want to pray for her to intercede for peace in her land. Ain al-Mahmudiyya, the baptismal font. This is the name of this archaeological area in the village of Tapua, 5 kilometers west of Hebron, in the West Bank. The site, long abandoned and in a state of neglect, has the particularity of having a baptistry inside that is connected to the figure of St. John the Baptist. The baptismal font dates back to the time of the Emperor Justinian, between 527 and 565 AD. The area where it was built is called Khirbet Deir. Khirbet means the monastery, referring to the Byzantine era religious site that was here.
الحجرتين طبعا حجرة
There are two rooms, one inside on the north side and the other on the south side. It seems that there was also a courtyard in front with a colourful mosaic floor. We, as archaeologists, have examined the site according to the artifacts and to many remains of the mosaic that we found in connection with the agricultural use of the site. In addition, this monastery is made of stone. Part of it is from the Byzantine period, whereas another part was renovated in the Crusader period. This is why we find many stones that are in the Crusader era style. The monastery's ceiling is also in this style, and I think the window in the ceiling of the monastery represents the shape of a flower, a symbol of the baptistry that has lasted to this very day.
النافذة الوردية هاي النافذة اللي كانت بترمز كمان لجرن التعميد وما زالت موجودة.
اسمها المعبودية يعني.
This place is called the baptistry. It is said that in ancient times children were baptized here, in this baptistry.
في مغطس يعني كأننا عم دوكم.
From the top of the mountain you can see the remains of a tower, built for the protection of the spring and the monastery. What remains is the portal, which would be closed with a large round stone. Above the door is a lintel with a carved cross and an inscription in ancient Greek.
الهدف كان من إنشاء هذه القلعة هو
The tower was mainly built to protect the baptistry, the monastery, and the other religious buildings around the baptistry. This place, like the tower, overlooks the underlying construction and is right in front of the religious places, the baptistry and the monastery, but its main function was to protect the area.
المعمودية مع الدير ووظيفته الأساسية هي حماية هذا المنطقة.
The water from the spring near the baptismal font is now used for agricultural purposes. The place attracts inhabitants from nearby villages, who especially during the summer months come to draw fresh water from the spring.
We are here to tell you about the Holy Land, to raise awareness and visibility of the Mother Church of Jerusalem, local Christians, and holy places. We are here to tell so many forgotten stories of daily efforts, courage, and faith. We are here to promote hope in the land of God. Support those who give a voice to custody of the Holy Land's work.